Let's talk about the 8 reasons great candidates aren't applying for that great position that you have available. And you can't believe it. How on earth can people be passing this up? It's the opportunity that people have been begging to apply for years. And yet all of a sudden, when you finally have an opportunity to post, where is everybody? Well, if you haven't heard, our economy is doing well, which is great in Canada. And we are in the midst of a talent shortage. So what that means is that people have a lot of choice, and they may have already moved on to your competitor or even completely retrained in another industry. And so the question I get from a lot of HR professionals, business owners, and leaders is, what do I do? How can I still get noticed in the midst of all of this competition? Because you see, the problem is when you have those gaps, other people have to pick up the slack. They get frustrated, and then you worry about them leaving. Not only that, but you can spend so many of your hours as a leader trying to fill these positions, and that's not the most rewarding part of your job, and it certainly is frustrating when you finally get to that point where you find the perfect candidate and they say those terrible, terrible words, "I just accepted another position." Right? But here's the opportunity. You can take a look at the practices that you currently have in place and make sure, in fact, that they are setting you up for success. Oftentimes, because you already work there, you don't even know what it's like on the job hunter's experience, on their side of the fence. And so I'm going to give you a few suggestions of things that I see, either outdated HR practices or things that really aren't leading practice, to help you to determine if, in fact, you're getting in your own way and there could be some things that you could tighten up. Number one, do you have a very traditional, professional job posting process and job description? Does it look very official? Does it sound very official? Does it say all the words that everybody else says? You need communication skills. You need word processing skills. This very exciting organization, exciting opportunity. See how boring this is, right? You got to separate yourself from other people. And yes, absolutely, some of the positions that you're posting for will have collective agreements behind it, and you need to make sure it's vetted and so forth, but you got to separate yourself from the pack. Even if you're a hospital or you are a large pharmacy company, you can still separate yourself from all the other large organizations that you're competing against, because then you'll get noticed above the noise. There are so many job postings out there right now. Number two, you have poor social media. Maybe you're not even sharing your job postings out through social media, which is where people spend a lot of time. You can't complain about your employees being on Facebook when they should be working and then not also use social media to try to recruit people, right? And it's one of your best recruitment strategies because it's low pressure. The people who are attracted to you, they come to you. So it's not just HR or the official page, but who else are your raving fans of your organization that could share your posting? Number three, are you using your existing employees as your recruiters? If they love working in your organization, they're going to find probably the best candidates. It's just like you can probably sniff out just by meeting somebody for the first time if they would be a good candidate. You meet them at a conference or perhaps at a networking event, and you say, "Have you ever thought of coming to work in this organization?" And you know how you just know? Your employees are an army of recruiters. It doesn't just have to be all in the busy and perhaps overwhelmed HR professionals' hands. Number four, are you looking for just experience? I mean, hey, experience is important, particularly in highly technical, skilled workforce jobs. But those jobs are the ones where we have the biggest amount of boom that's happening. And so not only is it important to look beyond how you traditionally would consider experience, but also there is such a strong movement to hiring people from a values-based, heart-based orientation as well. So the fact that you can't find somebody that fits exactly the technical or skill requirements may actually be a great opportunity, because now you can start hiring for their values and who they're going to be in the job. The next piece is that, does your website have a very corporate feel where your job seeker, because that's one of the first things they're going to do, is they're going to go to your website. Do they get a feel for what it's going to be like working in your organization? Does it feel inclusive? Does it feel helpful? Does it feel informative? Like, what are the words that you would hope that people would experience and feel from your job recruitment process? Go to your website now. Does your website feel that way? And I know that that's not a small and easy task, but surely you can make some tweaks and some adjustments if you've got big gaping holes in your talent pool. The next piece I'd suggest is that, is there somebody that they could speak with? Is there a personal contact? Because oftentimes what I see, especially in large organizations, is there's a very formal process. And hey, it's great when you've got buckets and buckets of people applying. If that's not the current reality, maybe you need to take a look at your recruitment steps from the lens of somebody who has to go through them all. If there are about 16 steps before you even get to a real human being, you've probably lost those very heart-based, relationship-oriented people in the process. And if you haven't lost them, you potentially could lose somebody in all of the technical steps that they need to go through as well. So consider what it feels like from the new or potential employee's standpoint. Do you have a realistic job preview? This is my 7th tip for you. Because, one of the things, of course, is getting people in the door, doing the recruitment process. But why not give people an opportunity to experience what it's like, boots on the ground in your organization first? Even if it's just an hour or half a day, do they know what it's like? Because not only do you want, of course, make sure that they fit, but hey, why not have them fall in love with your organization before they even accept the job? The last tip I have for you is that if you're not in love with your position, you're probably not the best person to recruit for your organization. And I know that this may be a very challenging thing to hear, but if you're feeling burnt out or if your HR team is completely overwhelmed, the question is, who is the person that's going to be able to represent your organization best? Maybe you need to give a little bit of self-love, a bit of love to those people who are working so hard to bring people into the organization so that they can put on the best face, the most resourceful and resilient face to the organization. Because the job seeker is very savvy. They're scanning and assessing to see how do people seem to be experiencing their own job to help decide, do I want this job? My name's Sarah McVanel. I hope you found this really valuable, and come back week after week by subscribing to my YouTube channel or subscribing to the Greatness Magnified newsletter. Be well and be great.